Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Southwest Pennsylvania Full Commission meeting. Today is Monday, April 22nd. This is our full commission meeting at 4 p.m. I chair the meeting, Mr. Pat Fabian, Armstrong County. Welcome. Do we have a quorum? Yeah. We do have a quorum. Any conflict or declarations of interest on any of the action items on the agenda? Not hearing any, we'll move along. Since going around and doing introductions online and around the table is a time suck, we're going to skip that today. We have nice little fancy cards here, so we're just going to move right along. Send out your pre-packet where the meeting minutes from February 26, 2024. Looking for a motion on those.
Make a motion.
Second. Any comments, questions, or revisions of those minutes? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Public comment before the commission. Not hearing any. Agenda item 4, we're going to kick it down to Don for transportation. We're getting a regular.
Chairman.
Yeah.
I'm going to review, give you an update on our tip.
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you.
Got a little technical.
As people turn their microphones off.
Yeah.
If you're online, can you turn off your microphones, mute, please? You see who you are. All right, Dom.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to give you an update on our transportation improvement program plan. And I'm also going to talk about our smart transportation for livable communities program. Next slide. First slide. Okay. Here we go. Thank you. So this is our tip schedule. As you can see, many of these items are completed. Including all of our tip work group meetings. These are meetings that were attended by your county staff and also City of Pittsburgh staff and also PRT staff. So we have the highway bridge portion of the tip. We also have the transit portion of the tip. So we had 20 work group meetings, also parallel 10 transit meetings, all to put together a draft tip project list. We've also completed a selection of our transportation alternatives, CMAQ, and carbon reduction projects that were selected via competitive application process. That's done. And we had our first round of public meetings back in the fall for public feedback. We sent our final, I'll call draft tip project list to PennDOT Central Office. It was reviewed. We now have a draft final tip project list that we've received endorsement from SPC's Transportation Technical Committee and Transit Operators Committee. And so we're now using that draft final project list. Remember, the tip is that 4-year plan of projects that are in the pipeline. We are using that draft tip list to do the federally required air quality conformity and environmental justice analysis document preparations. We have that fourth and final SPC funding program called Smart Transportation for Livable Communities. I'll talk about that in some of our next slides here. Our solicitation is completed and our evaluation is ongoing. Those projects, go back please. Those projects will be part of the upcoming tip as a line item that will be drawn down by the successful applicants. There will be a 30-day public comment period, including 11 public meetings, 1 in each county, 1 in the city of Pittsburgh. That 30-day public comment period goes from May 8th to June 7th, and we'll receive public comment and respond to each and every one before we come to the commission, hopefully in June, for full adoption of the 2025-2028 tip. Next slide. This is our second round of public meetings. Please note the meeting in your county. And there's one meeting in every county and one in the city of Pittsburgh. Most of them are in person. Some have requested hybrid, some have requested virtual. Our comms team, Rhonda and Caitlin, have coordinated those dates and times with you and your staff. Next slide, please.
Hey, Dom, just one thing on that. Just kind of wanted to reiterate that these public participation meetings, they are important. So do your best to get your folks out to them. I know in Armstrong, and I'll self-disclose, we had really bad numbers this past fall as far as attendees. One thing we did was we partnered with the Township Association, piggybacking off their spring conference. So those folks that are at that conference can stay there and then just move right into our public participation meeting. So our hope was that it increases their attendance.
Thank you, Chairman. Next slide, please. So our Smart Transportation for Livable Communities program, I talked a little bit about this at the February meeting. I'll just give you a quick recap again. This is a competitive program that we run here at SPC. It's got about $6 million, a small program, relatively small program, about $6 million. Eligible sponsors include SPC member county governments. City of Pittsburgh may submit one project each. PennDOT districts 10, 11, 12 may submit one project per county in their district. Eligible activities include planning studies, preliminary engineering, final design, and construction. Eligible project categories: bike ped improvements, corridor management or congestion reduction improvements, intermodal transit-oriented development or transit improvements, planning and redevelopment, network improvements, streetscapes, traffic calming, and we added this round electrical vehicle charging stations. Next slide, please. So in terms of application evaluation, SPC staff will evaluate projects using the 5 transportation themes. And these are consistent with our long-range plan: linking transportation investment and land use, supporting community goals, having a multimodal approach. These are all the scoring opportunities that we evaluate each application on. Safety and sustainability. Sustainability with regard to how the project fosters health and vitality, preserves the environment, and promotes equity among all residents of the community. Other factors, again, partnering and collaboration on an application. We like to see more than one entity sometimes. We'll get more points. Environmental justice, and is the project ready to go? Those are other factors that go into evaluation of these applications. Next slide, please. So we opened the application period February 15th. It was closed on April 8th. We are right now in the process, April 8th to May 3rd, of evaluating and selecting, having an evaluation and selection process. We got 10 applications, roughly a little over 6 million. So we're going to have to figure out how to keep that within our 6 million allocation. I'll go through the projects in a second here, the applications in a second. Yeah. We will, after we're done, after we have staff evaluation and selection completed, we'll bring those recommendations to our Transportation Technical Committee in May, and then they'll be part of the tip that you adopt in June. Next slide, please. So here are the 10 applications that we have. I'll just go through them very briefly. We have Sheepskin Trail, Southern Extension, Fayette County. That's a new trail segment. You see the sponsor in the right-hand column. Pennsylvania 356 corridor improvements in Butler County. Those are sidewalk and ADA improvements. Leechburg Road pedestrian and school zone safety improvements in Westmoreland County. Again, sidewalk, ADA, school-related safety. State Route 68 in Beaver County. That's a roadway reconstruction project. West Liberty Avenue in Allegheny County. Again, ADA, sidewalks, and signal improvements. State Route 158 in Lawrence County. Roadway safety, shoulder improvements. Grand Avenue Road Diet Study by Allegheny County. That's a study for a road diet on Grand Avenue in Neville Island. Westmoreland Heritage Trail, Murraysville Crossings in Westmoreland County. That's a study to look at better safety at trail crossings of the roadway on that trail. Sheepskin Trail Crossings, another part of the Sheepskin Trail where they're asking for flashers at trail crossings where the trail crosses the roadway. And then last but not least, Equitable Access, Butler Township, Pullman Center in Butler County. Those are pedestrian transit and electrical vehicle charging improvements in Butler County. I think that's all I have. I'll take any questions on any of that.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
Moving along to strategic initiatives and policy report, DJ Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll be brief. I just wanted to provide you an update on the climate pollution reduction grant discussion that we had at the last meeting. First of all, I want to thank everybody for sharing your opinions with us, for helping us to refine that process. And I know I've had many discussions with a lot of you since then about the program, and I know that's going to continue as we move forward. I wanted to give you an update that in late March, SPC submitted our application for $199 million for what we are calling the Southwestern Pennsylvania Resiliency Fund. That is the competitive program that we want to establish here locally in Southwestern Pennsylvania to give money to projects that are going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I won't go into all of the metrics with you this afternoon, but I'll just say that the main thing is the more carbon you can take out of the atmosphere per dollar, the better that your project's going to score. I also want to note in particular that one of the scoring metrics that we have put into the application is that the application must be submitted to the county and the county must verify that it is in line with county strategic planning efforts. That is your opportunity to review applications. It is not an immediate disqualifier for the application, but it will give you the opportunity to weigh in on that, and applications that don't meet county planning efforts or the county long range plan are not going to score very well. We are just in a waiting game now. So we wait until July is when the EPA tells us that they're going to announce the awards for that project. Hopefully we'll hear from them in July. Sometimes they're on deadline, sometimes they're not. If we have good news to share with you, we'll certainly do that. Once we get an announcement, we're going to be ready to open applications here locally within 2 weeks. That application period would be at least 6 weeks. So doing some preliminary math, we're looking at an application deadline of sometime in mid-October, late September, somewhere in there. We'll certainly keep everybody posted on our progress, but we're very excited about the application. We hope that we can get this money and bring it back to the region, but it's really just a waiting game at this point. That's it for me. Happy to take any
Questions for DJ? All right, I'm going to switch up the agenda here a little bit and bring in Jen Lasser for Workforce and Economic Development Report.
You know, this is slightly off, but I had met with the executive committee and so kindly was asked just to kind of fill you all in some of the things that we're doing on the economic development and workforce development side. And I think, you know, most of our teams, but we do three main categories. So the first is small business support. The second is grant technical assistance. And the third is stakeholder engagement and planning. So a little bit of what we've been doing lately is on the small business side. We are under Partnerships for Regional Economic Performance. We provide Falling for time as we're getting the slides. Hopefully it was not as noticeable. Okay, so under partnership with regional economic performance, under export. So I think you all know this, but if not, export is where we assist small businesses that are trying to export their product overseas, again, or north to Canada or south to South America, Mexico, et cetera. So 39 companies were assisted with 56 counseling sessions. That's 10 companies with 19 overseas work orders to 11 countries. And we hosted something called Bringing the World to PA, which I'm going to show you in 2 slides. A little bit about that. That's 60 attendees. Under government and contract technical assistance, we help businesses that want to either sell their product or their wares or their services to the federal government marketplace or state marketplace. 8 companies were assisted with 11 counseling sessions. That's 13 companies with 58 awards totaling $2.3 million. Under our small business lending, commercial lending assistance, 16 companies were assisted with 19 counseling sessions. That's 2 loans that were closed under our EDA CARES dollars. That's 2 Superior Fine Grind and Ace Wire Spring, each for about $300,000. And then under Keystone Opportunity Zone, we had 7 inquiries with 6 applications being received. And we had 3 businesses that were served and 3 businesses that were improved for about a $969,000 investment. And that showed a total of 17 jobs that were created and 61 jobs retained. Next slide. So under our grant technical assistance, under ARC Power, Faith Collins here, our community capacity coordinator, did a phenomenal job working with all of our regional applicants. There were 38 applications for the state of PA. 19 were here in Southwestern Pennsylvania, and Faith handheld each and every one of those through their process. The due date was April 17th. And again, we knocked it out the park there. We don't know what that's going to look like until probably October, but hopefully that's quite a few $1 million coming to the area. Under ARC area development, these dollars are on hold till July, but we had a record 12 Southwestern Pennsylvania applications selected to move forward, and that's representing $6.7 million. These types of projects are everything from water, sewage to workforce. Could be something as simple as maybe in building onto a school for an additional classroom space, really just anything and everything, as long as it had an economic impact to it and was going to create jobs, et cetera. Under ARC Arise, these dollars are still available. This is a rolling deadline. This is a multi-state type of project. So if you had something that would cross into another state, we'd love to talk to you about that. EDA is still looking for projects. We helped 2 projects with technical assistance. Next slide. And then I wanted to spotlight Bringing the World to PA. So this event was held on March 15th at CMU, and this is through the Office of International Business Development, OIBD, through DCED, through the REN, through the Regional Export Network, and it partnered to host 13 countries. I assure you that everybody in our field knows these acronyms. It's just the folks outside of it. But basically, with our export folks, 30 companies were in attendance, resulting in 110 one-on-one meetings. So Rich kicked off the event and spoke on the international importance of export and its economic impact to the region. We are the designated regional export network for Southwestern Pennsylvania. And so it's managed by 2 amazing staff here at SPC, Jackie and Rena, which you see in the picture. And our program is actually funded by Partnerships for Regional Economic Performance and REN dollars. And so basically this event provided the opportunity for Pennsylvania businesses to meet one-on-one with Pennsylvania authorized trade representatives in the areas of business intelligence. So let's say that you have that product that you want to sell overseas. They can work with you to figure out, what's a good idea to do with that. Is it a smart idea to put that overseas? Agent and distributor candidates, let's say that, you need to find somebody to distribute your product, but they're all the way over in China. There's somebody that can help with that. Industry and government contacts, on the ground assistance abroad. So let's say you fly to that country and you need to have a meeting with these folks. There's somebody that can kind of handhold you through the process and really anything that you're trying to do. Next slide, sorry. And so you can see some of the pictures here, but we had representatives from the following countries that were all in attendance: Australia, for New Zealand, Canada, China, Czech Republic, Germany, India, Israel, Mexico, Netherlands, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and the UK. And so basically these businesses sat one-on-one with these folks and were able to sell what they're looking to do and made a lot of connections. So this is just one of the many things that we do here as SPC and our support for small business. And I said in the prior meeting that Another great thing is that we had all of these folks here from all over the world, and they were in the city of Pittsburgh the day before the St. Patrick's Day Parade and had the pleasure of spending that weekend here in Pittsburgh. So they were able to see what a great city we have, all of the amazing things we can offer. And they were able to meet the region knowing, you know, how much we love small business, how much we love the importance of business and kind of moving forward, how we want to continue that process. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. I just wanted to remind everybody, if your county needs technical assistance as it relates to economic development, workforce development, make sure your team back home reaches out to Jen. They are here to support each and every one of our counties. All right, our executive director, Richard Sherrill.
Thank you. And first of all, just following up a little bit on what Jen does. We've been meeting, people have been requesting meetings through your commissions. Some economic development projects that want to come in and have our assistance, whether it be again on transportation, economic development, or broadband, those type of things. And also with Jen, what she's been doing, also the same type of things, whether it's export, whatever it might be. Back to Dom a minute, the tip is going to be, one of the main things that we do. We're going to be voting on that, asking you to vote on that in the June meeting. I want to thank all of you for all of the level of cooperation. Your folks have been showing up at the monthly meetings that Tom and his team put on as you put your priorities together for transportation, as we put those lists together. Along with DJ, when he talked about the $199 million request for grants we put in for the CPRG, I think we've, again, a lot of level of cooperation from all of the various counties and all the various entities that have come forward with that and been very helpful with that. So thank you for that. Along those lines, we're going to maybe, when we go to meet in Harrisburg in a couple of weeks, we have some initiatives we want to hear from you and what you want to put together. One of those is going to be broadband. We know the award that just came out the other day. Some people did pretty well and some folks did not get probably what they deserve. And what we did also about a week or so ago is meet with the philanthropic community, a number of our foundations. And what I can say, both along with the CPRG grants, along with broadband and other workforce development initiatives, we will be able to get money in partnership from some of the philanthropic community that like to invest in those type of programs. So keep that in mind as you put some of your project initiatives together that we can work, along those things. We also are starting something called Community Chronicles. Caitlin, if you want to, this was our communication department's idea to come up with some things as there's initiatives out in your communities that we can, be part of and be part of helping you develop. We want to do that. The first one, Stonecrest Business Park up in Lawrence County along Route 18, a few miles from Beaver County, actually across the line. You see up at the top picture there, Commissioner Sonato from left to right, Lieutenant Governor Davis. Commissioner Bogart, Commissioner Kennedy there. Just great development that's going to happen and open up some job opportunities to our friends up in Lawrence County. Next, we have this Tri-County Entrepreneurial Makers Project. It's a Tri-County that IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, put on. The Tri-Counties being Armstrong, Indiana, and Cambria. There's standing there some of the folks, Senator Pittman, along with the president of IUP and Patrick Troyel from Governor Shapiro's office, working with the $1.5 billion BBB project, the Build Back Better project that Jen and her team initiate around, obviously the new technology with robotics, et cetera, and makerspace. Next, we go to Connellsville, Fayette County. Again, our friends and commissioners from left to right, Commissioners Lohr, Dunn, and Vasides. Again, Lieutenant Governor Davis was there along with State Representative Bud Cook. Armstrong Company, a broadband initiative, a broadband company, communication company, doing some work there with the ribbon cutting and putting their facility online. Next is Butler Happenings. You may notice that today, 3 commissioners who are normally here, Commissioners Oshie, Geyer, and Boozle, are not here. And the reason they're not here, as you see that picture above, there's a big threat to the Cleveland Cliffs Steel Plant in Lindora, right outside of the city of Butler. And you can see an initiative at the very top, Congressman Kelly, and then right under him, Governor Shapiro, coming together to lobby the Secretary of Energy, Secretary Granholm, to allow the type of transformers that plant produces. There was an initial ruling that was going to make that basically obsolete, those transformers. It would have cost, I think it's about 1,500 workers who work at that steel plant. She's actually there right now, Secretary Granholm, meeting with the commissioners and others in Butler County to reverse that decision. And it was a coming together of the folks trying to keep that plant open. It looks like they're going to be successful in doing that. And then finally, the last one, we got a request from the leadership Pittsburgh, leadership Butler, and leadership Washington County to kind of learn, what does SPC do? What are the various initiatives? Not just the tip that a lot of people kind of identify the organization with, but economic development, the things DJ works on, the thing Kirk works on when it comes to data, and obviously Caitlin in communication. So try to get that word. It was a great give and take. It was probably, 150 people there that from various organizations, businesses, nonprofits, private sector, along those lines, kind of learning about what we do and how we can help move along and help be supportive of the various projects and various initiatives that can happen. And finally, we're going to be going to Harrisburg in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, there's going to be on May 6th, Monday, May 6th, a reception at the Keystone Building. So from 5 to 7, put on by the chambers, East and West, both Philadelphia and the Allegheny Conference Pittsburgh Chamber. And it will be a great reception to see a lot of folks. The governor will be there, the lieutenant governor, various secretaries that we work with, PennDOT, DCED, DCNR, DEP, Health, DHS, LNI, et cetera. You'll see an awful lot of the Senate and House leadership that will be there, and rank and file members. So it'll be a great reception for us to be able to talk to our friends. And then the next morning, we are going to be hosting a breakfast reception for our entire delegation, the 10-county delegation, both House and Senate, but bipartisan, and maybe members of the administration as well. So I know there's initiatives that we want to put forward, and the best way we can do that is when we're all together and making our case. I don't know, Mr. Colling, if you want to add to some of that. I know you're organizing a lot of that in our team.
No, Rich, I think you're absolutely right. And we had a trip to Harrisburg 2 years ago and was very productive. We haven't been there since. And I think it's important we go up on a regular basis, spring, fall. We're going to have dinner that night, that Monday night, with the members of the House Transportation Committee. We're also sending a number of meetings with representatives of the Shapiro administration. We also want to talk to the Broadband Development Authority about some of the grants that we received and not received. So we have this great opportunity, and it's going to be a full boat day. So I encourage you, if you get involved, to come join us up there. And if you have any of your local legislators, reach out to them and encourage them to come to the breakfast.
Yes. And then also, before we go to that meeting, we want to hear your priorities so that we can go there with a game plan and what we want to ask them for and kind of, make our request. So think about that so we can have that. That'll be 2 weeks literally from today, and then we'll be going up there and stay tuned. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
So Caitlin, correct me if I'm wrong. So the only ones going to Harrisburg are the executive commissioners, correct? Or is it open?
It's open.
It's open?
Yeah.
So, can you,
Coordinate logistics on who's going to what meetings.
so can you give your spiel on
Yeah.
who's able to go and when we need their each county's priority list?
Yes, yeah, so if any of you guys are planning to come to Harrisburg, please either shoot me or DJ an email, just saying you're coming for kind of coordinating internal logistics. And then the second part, if you could send 2 or 3 priorities that you have, just bullet point, you want 50 million in broadband or whatever, it's housing, whatever your priorities are. I'll be provided for the staff lawmakers. So if you can send them to Friday, close of business, that would be great. So we're going to be working on that next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And there will be individual meetings that, depending on who we're meeting with. If we're meeting with Senator Pittman, for example, it'll be the folks from Indiana and Armstrong that might be in that meeting. But as far as the reception on the 6th at the Keystone Building, everybody's being invited to that. Same with the breakfast during the next day. But then some of the individual meetings might, we'll try and strategize as to who should be in those.
So thank you for that clarity. I know in our last meeting, Mayor Gainey, I think, said it best. When we're unified and speaking as one voice, they're gonna listen a little more in Harrisburg. So I encourage anybody, if you can make it out May 6th and May 7th, please do, and reach out to DJ and Caitlin, if you're interested. More the merrier.
Oh, I skipped the Armstrong's Trail. I can't believe I did that.
Nah, it's-
Finally.
I didn't want to say
The
no.
10-mile Armstrong Trail that we opened up, they opened up a couple of weeks ago. You see the commissioners there, Jay and Mr. Fabian, and Chris Ziegler, who put a lot of that together, was just another great event. 10 miles of the Pittsburgh to Erie Trail that's opening up. And yeah, that was one of the other things. So again, if you have something in your counties that you need us to be at and you need us to participate, we want to promote it. We want to get it out there. A lot of these stories ended up in the newspapers and on the evening news. The film clips there. So again, let us know what's going on that we may not know about. We'll try and support it.
Who do we send that stuff to?
Caitlin, get that, Caitlin. We send everything to Caitlin. So take that.
We always appreciate you come visit us in Armstrong, Rich.
Great place.
This is a little update. As we move along, a couple weeks ago, the executive committee had an opportunity to go through a board members orientation. I asked Caitlin, who everything goes through, to send that out to all people that are participating in this full commission for a review. I found the handout and PowerPoint helpful, even though I've been here 9 years. And also later in that afternoon, we had the opportunity to meet with Double Digit Foundations. And I don't know if you want to talk more about that meeting.
Yeah, the philanthropic community really wanted to come together with the elected leaders in each county to kind of get their priorities and a little bit have a give and take. I mentioned some of the things that they do like to fund, whether it's around in the environment, green space, workforce development, broadband, things along those lines. And I think it was a good discussion to open up a dialogue with for us to be able to partner and get the type of resources that could kind of give us match money to some of the things that we want to do. And I think we'll just continue those partnerships. When we do things as a partner and as a community, that's the kind of things I think we'll be successful with.
Thank you, Rich. I know it's not an agenda item, but I am chair, so I just want to open it up for discussion. If something's on anyone's mind, please feel free to speak. And if be considered time, that's all. Anything for the good of order around the room?
I can have the floor. I just want to throw out there that Howe Powell, Pennsylvania, in beautiful Fayette County was named by USA Today the best small town in Northeast in New York. And Caitlin, we could use your help because the Laurel Highlands, which consists of Westmoreland, Fayette, and Somerset, is up for best vacation destination. We would appreciate your vote. We would like to have 2 designations, and so if you could forward that out, I would appreciate it.
I'm sure the Ohio policy do that one.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
And you can vote often, unlike tomorrow.
Sick.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, we greatly appreciate Armstrong, our executive director's help in job retention and creation with North Point there. And thank you very much for your time efficiency way before first pitch tonight on getting us out of this meeting. Excellent work.
Hope we win.
Yeah, let's take that's true. Anything else?
I know we talked about this in the executive committee meeting, policy committee meeting. But there were some counties that were not funded with this latest broadband proposal and really hurt us. We're upset about it. I know Fayette spoke about it. I think Green is another one, Lawrence. Nobody should be left out of this. We deserve funding. Put a good proposal together and hopefully we can rectify that with the BEAD money. And I think we deserve a explanation as to why we didn't get funded, because we think we did everything right. I don't know if any of my other commissioners want to say anything about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking with our state senator, Pat Stefano. He had no feedback on whatsoever or reasons for county getting zero. And same with Green. And it was pretty sad because especially, you know, we have a lot of rural areas like most of you do. But there's one whole dead zone between us and Green, completely up and down the Monongahela River. If you want to get on a cell phone, you want to get any broadband, you have to wait until you get to like Masontown, Big Point Marion on their side. Yeah, I mean, it's just, we weren't happy. Say it that way, we weren't happy. And we've voiced our opinion.
I think we could put that on our priority list when we go visit some folks next
We're
week.
gonna reach the approximately 7,500 people in Dade County that are underserved or have no service at all. You know, we're gonna need some help here. I'm happy for the counties that got funding though. I think that's great. Health support with that, but that should have covered all of us.
I mean, we used a lot of our ARPA money. And then our redevelopment authority was able to obtain some grants, but it was also matched. And we put some money into it. And to some degree, we felt like we got penalized because we put money into it.
I feel like that's what we did because we focused on it. I mean, Green did feasibility study. We've deployed $9 million in a couple of years. And then when it came to this, where you thought you were really going to get to those areas that are so costly, we got nothing. So it's very disappointing.
Well, this, just so everybody knows, Allegheny did not get anything. Armstrong did not get anything. Beaver got a project. Butler got 2. Fayette, nothing. Green, nothing. Indiana, 6 with combinations with some other counties. And if you rank all our counties according to our broadband map that, and I touted this earlier in the regional policy meeting, SPC's done a wonderful job. So if you have an opportunity to go to their website and look at their data on broadband mapping in the southwestern Pennsylvania, you'll clearly see that Indiana was way behind the ball and deservingly so of those 6 application or that funding. Lawrence 0, Washington 1, Westmoreland 1. So as Vince said, happy for those who did well. And I feel for Fayette County. I know Armstrong County is at the top of the list. We're over 90% coverage. We're doing really well. I guess we'll take credit for that. But when you really look at Fayette and unserved, it's downright shameful that you guys didn't get funded.
Yeah.
Another thing we talked about in the regional policy committee is when you look in who's on the authority and some of the subcommittees, SBC really doesn't have representation. So we're going to explore on how we get some representation on there, opposed to maybe the Allegheny Conference or the Pittsburgh Chamber. Some things discussed. So we'll maybe Chuck can help us out with that, or our executive director.
Especially when we did the data collection and have all the information.
Right.
That's important.
Absolutely. So I think we're all in agreement there. But I think also spoke earlier today was maybe it's a blessing too that you didn't get funded because, we've got over $1 billion in this BEAD program coming down the pike. And, if you weren't in phase 1, everybody should be getting something here in phase 2 with that amount of money out there. So keep your fingers crossed. But that advocacy, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that May 6th and 7th out in Harrisburg as well.
What, 200 million was released and there's what?
1.1 billion left to be.
Left to go. Okay.
Left to go. So we have an opportunity to pursue that funding.
But one thing I heard earlier today, so I'll pass along from policy since vast majority of you weren't there, is just making sure your county maps are correct on who served. And if you don't feel they're correct, make sure you challenge them and go through that process. So.
Yeah, like company that works with us a lot, called Vitalink, and they update those maps on a regular basis. And Armstrong.
That's
Armstrong.
Yeah.
They're the other ones that we've worked with, and
Great company.
They're right on
Yeah.
top of things like that.
And that's the other thing too, the Fayette County application was put in by Vitalink Q and not one of the big boys. And so we think that potentially could have hurt us as well. But at the same time, Verizon and Comcast are not heavy players in Fayette County. And so, they're starting from almost zero. And this company already has fiber that's probably.
They say, in fact, to piggyback with the Ohio Power article, a few years ago, right about 6 years ago, wasn't it? They put the bill to put fiber down into Ohio Power to save all the outfitters and everyone from leaving, which they did it on their own. That's the type of company they are. But Comcast, and I can actually say in that same time period, I reached out to Comcast and they didn't respond.
We tried to get them involved. We did 2 RFPs. Opposed to either Verizon or Comcast. We tried to get as much interest as we could. But one company stepped up and they're good and they do a good job. Wanted to work with them.
Keep advocating for yourselves and we'll see what we can do from SBC side of things too. All right. Anything else? Mr. Poole, anything?
Just one quick note,
Yeah, no.
Mr. Chair. I will be, either myself or Caitlin will be emailing the full commission the TIP project list. So that the ones that we're locked into in terms of us moving forward to, I think, our June commission meeting, we're doing the federal required air quality conformity. You will get those listed in email. It'll be a file for each county for the Bridge Highway tip, and then for the transit tip, there'll be one list with all the transit providers. It'll be easy for you to read. And these are the projects that we've worked on with your county staff over the last year plus to really put the transportation priorities on the tip. You'll be getting that list as a follow-up to today's meetings in email. Thank you.
All right. Get a motion to adjourn. Looking for a motion.
No moves.
Thank you all for attending.